Hi guys, welcome back. Round 2 of the Dodge Caravan above me. That is some junkyard rating, so we scored. We got us a used PCM down the road at the junkyard. I'm gonna take the old one, just unplug it. I'm gonna stick this one up here and plug it in. Of course, that should set a whole host of codes where it's gonna have problems with the security system. What we're gonna do is log into the Chrysler Tech Authority and go through a PCM replacement procedure through the wireless control module, see if we can get these two talking again, and then possibly, get the correct VIN number wrote to this one. If that works, then if there's any updates for this, which I assume there is, because this part number ends with Adam Charlie, and the one that's on it, when I pulled the number, I can't see it there, it ended with Adam David, so that's a little bit newer revision on that one. I assume the software is going to be a little different. So we'll see how the process goes. I may kibosh the whole thing, I don't know. But I'm going to get it plugged in. We'll hop inside, we'll grab a laptop and see what happens. So I got our laptop firing up. We've got our VCI module plugged in. Can't even talk. Got our VCI module plugged in. Let's see what happens here. Technically it should not start. Probably this little red light will come on. I lied. It just started and installed. Alright, well it doesn't start stall, so that's good. It's interesting, I didn't think it would start at all, but this is with the used PCM in there. So let's get our laptop fired up and see what we got. Alright, here we go. We want to go to Chrysler Programming. Just close that window there. I'm going to have to click on the 2010 and later, then I'll have to put in my username and password. Should be logging us in now, because that's what it says. If I had the right info there. And then it's going to connect to our Bosch VCI module, which is what it's doing right now. That thing's flashing and clicking. And then it's going to bring up should bring up the current software version. But we just want to try to make the security key happy at this point. Okay. It does not show any engine controllers over here that need to be updated. These are all the controllers that's finding on the vehicle. We look at the PCM. Let's see, what is our VIN number here? Let me just check, because that should be wrong, but let me just double check here. I took a picture of it. Where is it? Our VIN number ends with 366. Okay, so this is the VIN that's stored in the ECM right now, so this is the wrong VIN. But it says the part number ends with a Alpha Delta, so I'm assuming this has probably been updated at some point. So that's interesting. We're going to go here to routines. Wonder why it doesn't list usually come here under routines and it will give us our PCM replacement, but it is not there. I don't know why. So I came back to the beginning here. I unclicked the hide up-to-date ECUs. When I was in here, I came back and it was still just PCM, and then I was just kind of I had to think what my next step was going to be, and all of a sudden these three popped up. So anyhow, we want to go to the WCM, the wireless control module. We're going to go to this PCM replaced function here. We're going to run a routine. We'll read this important. Use this function only when the PCM has been replaced. Running PCM replace in any other case may cause the loss of valid security key information in the PCM, which require cutting and programming of new keys. My other problem is we only have one key here. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. we'll go through. Please, let's see, enter the pin. Pin can be found on Dealer Connect. There's our secret pin number, 4998. Hopefully that's correct. Please verify 4998 is correct pin for continuing. Entering incorrect pin 3 times will cause the wireless control module to enter anti-scan lockout. Whoa, crap. So let's hope this is the right number. Unable to lock WCM. Procedure failed. Internal error occurred. Awesome. Alright, so what we're going to do, I just talked to Keith. He does a ton of programming. He's messed around with using used ECMs and Chryslers. We're just verifying that the pin is correct. So what we're going to do, he says sometimes you got to trick them. We'll leave the ECM, we'll plug the old ECM back in, we'll let the Chrysler software get all loaded up. That way it can identify the original ECM, and then we will, at that point, we'll let it get loaded up, and then we'll do the old switcheroo. We'll unplug it, we'll plug the used one back in, and then see if we can handle it from there, and just kind of see how that goes. I went under, plugged the new one in. Man, them connectors are a pisser to deal with. So I just popped the covers off and pulled the lock tabs out, so I can just, this way here we can slip it in and out a lot easier. So let's get all loaded up. Alright, so that is our VIN. It ends with what, 366. Go to routine. See, here it popped up this time. So yeah, perhaps it's not identifying any of these other modules on the with the other ECM because of the VIN mismatch. So we're going to go down here to wireless control. We're going to go to PCM replace. Go to run routine. I'm going to go under here and switch it out now. We'll see if it's mad. It'll just say it's a pain in the neck to get inside, in and out of this car while it's on the lift. So I did switch to the used ECM now. So we'll continue. Let's see, what was our number again? 4998. Let's see, 4998. Please verify it's correct. It is. Yes. Continue. Unable to lock WCM. Internal error occurred. Dang it. Alright, we're going to take and fire up the old Autel here and see if the PCM replacement on this is any different here. So let's get fired up. I got the original ECM plugged back in. I'm just verifying the key code here. It is 4998. Let's see here. So we'll see if we can give the old Autel the switcheroo. I've got the, like I said, I got the original ECM plugged back in. Car does start and run. So we'll see if this helps us out here. I'm not sure why it's not working on the Chrysler side. I think they changed the menu. We just got an update on this, so hopefully it's still here. Hope I didn't screw myself on that. Let's see, PCM replaced. It gives us pretty much the same warning. Alright, so I don't know if there's any extra steps after this right offhand. So at this point I'm going to swap the, I want to put the used one back in. We'll kind of take it from there. Alright, we got the used one in, 4998. This is our third time, otherwise we're going to be locked out for a while. Come on, baby. Correct pin has been entered. Okay, so Autel for the win. Current VIN in WCM is enter 366. That was our VIN, right? Let's see here. I'm gonna go back to my pictures. Where would we be without phones? So I got a 2 Charlie, 4 Romeo Delta, Golf Bravo, 3 Delta Romeo, 609er, 366. To update the current VIN in the PCM, continue. This is all we wanted to do, folks. Alltel for the win, Chrysler for the loss. VIN write was successful. Hit OK. Transferring security key. Transfer of secret key successful. Cycle key prior to starting vehicle. Okay. Let's go cycle the key. So I come inside, I shut the key off. Wait a little bit here. What in the thunder? We still got a flashing security light. Let's pull codes. Invalid skim key. That's handy. Well, actually, we're gonna go back in the ECM there. I wonder if it wrote the VIN correctly. Special functions. What do we want here? Check PCM VIN. This VIN is valid. Press OK to change. Well, that is not our VIN. Wonder if it'll allow us to type it in. Let's see. That is our correct VIN. Wait, OK. Vehicle VIN is valid. Okay, so that's our correct VIN now. So that's interesting. I see our security light's still flashing. Let's go ahead and just cycle the key. I'm just kind of curious. Turn the key back on. Our security light is out. Let's try to start it. Yeehaw! Fantastic. Oil change light. So that's interesting how we had to do that procedure. One thing I did notice when it's running, it is misfiring. Let me just see if we have any codes. We've got no codes, so we fixed our original problem, but I'm wondering if the freaking coil that that burned up the ECM is still bad, you know what I'm saying? Because when I started it there, it is not running smooth. So let's see. Let's go to some data here. It's got misfire data in here. Injector. Let's see if our injector's still working now. Let's see if because our number 3 injector was crapping out on us. Let's just make sure it's not shutting off an injector. Okay, so our injector's working now. I'm going to shut it off because I'm not real keen on the fact that it's misfiring. I did call the shop that worked on it and told them that I wasn't happy that the coils were all swapped around. Because now we don't, we got the potential that the coil is what ruined this computer, and I don't want to trash this new computer. I don't believe the misfire data is in here. What's it? It's going to be under one of these menus here. Event data, active test, be like which cylinder is misfiring or something. I just don't want to cause any issues, What do we want? That can't be event data, is it? Might have to switch scan tools. I know the Alltel sometimes does not have Chrysler misfire monitors for some reason. Let's see, this is not what we want. Did we already check active test? Shut down. Alright, well, I'm not going to bore you guys to death here. Let me find some misfire data for us. Okay, we fired up the virus because I know this has misfire monitors on it. I think Autel has always been missing them on Chrysler, which is kind of odd. Because I want to say, I think the OTC even has the, you know, the misfiring section. So I don't know. You know, you can go through and, you know, do a security relearn and rewrite VIN numbers, but you can't read misfire data. The thing that has me concerned the most is, you know, is that coil or whatever shorted out, that number 3, you know, still present in the car? Obviously, whatever is wrong with it at this point, you know, we made a correct diagnosis because, you know, we don't have that P2308 popping up. The injector is, you know, staying on. But like I said, that other shop played Swaptronics with this thing. So that's our VIN 366. So that's good. I don't know why the Chrysler tool wouldn't let us do that. So we're gonna pull this up. It is gonna be, I think, system test and what cylinder is misfiring. I think that's how they have it labeled. Yep. All right, let's see if this will give us some direction. So we'll start it up. Ah, shoot, the misfire monitors aren't gonna work because where it says global disable. Ah, crap biscuit. I'll tell you what. Let's we're gonna exit out of here. Let's just do injector kill test. I'm gonna go right for number 6. Shit, it's gotta be warmed up. Ah, crap biscuit. Well, let me give this some thought. All right, so this is my own stupid fault. I should have done that. I should have done this yesterday. I made the mention that we should have current ramped all the coils. Let's see. So I think we'll find the fuse that runs the ignition coils. The reason I mentioned number 6 yesterday when I was fiddling with this and doing an injector kill test, you know, number 3 obviously didn't do anything. Because it was already shutting off that injector, you know, because the driver's burned out of that, you know, out of that portion. It notices it has no spark, so nothing happened. So when I killed injectors, you know, 1, 2, 4, and 5, the engine almost stalled. You know, it just brought it right down to a, you know, just a chug. However, when I killed number 6, it didn't really respond. It actually kind of picked up a little bit in RPM. Unfortunately, number 6 is right there under here. Was that the coil that was originally number 3? I don't know. I'm going to grab a diagram here. We got the laptop fired up, so we'll just we'll grab our Pico. We'll current ramp it just to kind of see what the coil looks like. You know, I mean, if we got one that's spiking way out, you know, I don't want to burn up. I don't want to burn up this ECM. It would probably be in my benefit to plug the old one back in while we do this, but we'll see if we can't hurry this along. So I just looked here, I'm talking to you. M6 has a new fuse in it. Okay, that's for, what is that for here? The power outlet and rain sensor. Okay, I just see it, one had a different colored fuse in it, so they probably got a penny or something in the cigarette lighter, so that popped that. Let me find out what it is. I think it was I looked already once. I think it was M20 or M21. Yeah, M21 is a 20 amp for auto shutdown number 3. I don't know if there's other stuff that runs off from that. I'm gonna peek at the diagram so we can kind of get an idea what to expect on a coil current ramp. You know, if there's gonna be other noise on there. Hopefully our coils, you know, being 13 amps will be above anything else, but let's find out. So it was M21. I was looking at a Mitchell diagram, so it could be completely wrong, but it showed that this is the only thing on the circuit, which is a 20 amp circuit, so I tend to believe it. Getting a little crowded over here. Let me find where Mr. M21 lives, right here. So there's M21. So it should be power for our coils. We'll stick it in our loop. Stick that back in the box. We'll get our current clamp here. We'll set her up on a 20 amp scale. We'll get our Pico turned on and get you guys over. It's getting kind of tight. We got a lot of junk dragged out for a stupid car. Oh, I shouldn't call him stupid. Just frustrating, you know. I mean, the ECM's bad, but you know, we got to go, you know, try to save some money, put the used one in it, and you know, we got to go through this whole rigmarole. And it may not even be a bad coil, folks. So, you know, I could be barking up the wrong tree right here, but I just want to make sure that it isn't, because I don't want something else damaging this. We're gonna be in 20 amp mode. I want this up on a 20 amp scale. Oops, wrong way, fella. We'll slow this down. Slow her down a little more. All right, let me turn on our amp clamp here. Got her zeroed out. Let me click it on the wire. Whatever way I got, it's going to be the wrong way. Let me start it up. Okay, let me shut it off. All right, let's pause this. Get in here with our zoomy zoom. We want to see what 6 events, right? Is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6 it is. Anybody see any anomalies? They're all pulling about the same amperage, approximately. I don't see any straight up spikes like they're, oops, get rid of that, like they're shorted, or like one of them is shorted. Who knows, that spark plug not firing on that cylinder? I mean, we could just have a crappy spark plug too. Alright, well, this was the only thing that really kind of had me concerned. I'm going to go through a few and make sure I don't see any. To be honest with you, nothing really looks too out of the ordinary to me. I would expect to see a dead short, which we don't. So, alright. So I just went back to the beginning of our waveform here. And notice this, of course, this is during cranking. That's kind of interesting. Current limiter or something comes on there in the ECM. Yeah, and then away we go. Alright, so now that I guess just on a brief start we didn't notice any real anomaly, I'm going to take and fire it up, let it run a little bit. Just to see. Make sure we don't see something just after it runs here a little bit. It is misfiring quite badly now. Seems to be on about 1 cylinder. So I want to make sure we're not going to have some kind of funk. So it's interesting how the amperage just went up high on them right there briefly. But I don't know the diagnostic strategies of the ECM, you know, if it intermittently does that for a self-test or... Oh, you guys see that? What the thunder was that all about? Huh. Alright. Alright, I gotta shut it off. Alright, yeehaw! Look at that. We got something going on right there. What in heck is it? Almost like a multi-strike. You know, it's almost like a Ford. You know, it resaturated the coil before it, you know, even got rid of all of its initial energy. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I did that a couple times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Oh, perfect. Okay, so it's not, this is something that it's doing on a single cylinder. All right, if you guys are following along here. And that's a really high current spike. So this car's been running about 13 amps, which is what it's doing here. Well, I'm glad we started that and let it run a little bit instead of letting it warm up so it could tell us what cylinder is misfiring. So what's that? That's spiking up to damn near 18 amps. Yeah, 18.3. Okay, so now what we have to do, because there's obviously something going on here, we're able to catch it. Oh yeah, it's not happening every time. So 1, 2, 3, let's just see. That's pretty interesting. We need to set up a trigger so we can find out what cylinder that is. Well, it's about time we got a fun one, huh? I got this thing hooked up right. I do. So the fastest, most non-intrusive way to get a trigger is with a secondary probe, because we can see a coil. And that's all we need. We just need to see a coil. So we can start, let me get this plugged into our scope, so we can find out, you know, which one of these guys is being trouble. Cross your fingers, it's one in the back, so we don't have to pull this stinking intake off. But I highly doubt it. It's probably whatever one was originally in the number 3. Shame on me for not doing this yesterday, so it's entirely my fault. But we'll move on. So I'm just going to shove this, hopefully it can pick up this coil. I just got the probe just stuck on top of, was it 135 number 2, so we'll pull that pattern up. Hopefully that works, and then we'll be able to tell where the number 2 cylinder is, and then from there we know the firing order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty easy one to remember. I remember that from yesterday. And then we can tell what cylinder is having the issue. Then we can go and see if the coil's gone wonky, or what the heck's going on here. Because ECMs usually don't go bad for no reason. So we want to play that. What do we want to do? We want to turn on channel B. Secondary ignition probe. We'll try to invert it at first. Put it up on like 50 kV. Let me just go ahead and start it just to see where we're at. I'll tell you what, I think we had it upside down. We don't want it inverted, do we? So let's go. All right, let's try this. Hopefully we can capture that bad spell again. Wait a minute here. I gotta shut this off. What the heck am I doing wrong? Okay, so my probe's just not picking up good, but I could go move the probe around, but honestly, I really don't care, because all we need right now is a trigger point. We know where the number 2 cylinder is. I really don't care what the secondary waveform looks like or why it's not showing, you know, our peak kV. But honestly, we don't really care about that right now. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. We can see that, you know, we got coil saturation. You know, there's a firing event, probably picking up. Hey, I just got it wedged under the intake, so. We're just using it for a cylinder identifier at this point. All right, let's see. Oops, sorry. Let's see if we can't get you guys situated here. Let's see if we can't find that one that's drawing high amperage again. Took it a little bit last time. Tell you what, let's move our trigger. Oops. Come on, baby, mess up on us. Oh, there she was. Did anybody see that? Let's shut it off. I saw it. Let's click back a couple here. Cylinder number 2, 3, number 4. That's interesting. What the heck's going on here? Your guess is as good as mine on that. Hopefully I got something going on with my current probe here, but this is definitely what we were seeing last time. That's really bizarre. It's almost like it's getting a double whammy on the control side, huh? Well, anyhow, let's let this roll a little bit. We'll see if we can capture that consistently on cylinder 4. All right, we're gonna let her play. Saw it there again, there again. Oops, shoot. All right. Time to shut her down. So that seemed to be accidentally a double tap there. All right, so that seems to be pretty consistent. Gosh, I hope this is not a diagnostic strategy that I'm chasing down of some sort. I don't have enough experience to know. I wouldn't think so, but it is staying consistent on one cylinder. And I tell you what, I wonder if we can get the ignition probe under there on number 4 just to verify. I got the probe shoved under the intake. It's only next to the coil. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We'll see. Ah, crap. Let me roll my cart out of the way here. Let me wiggle that probe around. Maybe I can get it to pick up a reading. Get rid of let's get rid of this trigger. Oops. All right, that's number 2. Let's see, I'm trying to hold it under there. Just getting a little bit of a blurb there. Of course, now I'm not seeing it act up. It was acting up there just briefly. That's as good of a trigger as we can get. We know we're okay, but I'm not seeing it. It's not acting up now. Let's tell you what. Let's restart the car. I can barely get that underneath the intake. Yeah, you see? So we're on the right cylinder, but you know, I don't know if that's, see, what's interesting is you see this happening again in the secondary waveform, even though our waveform is crap. Gosh, I have no idea if that is a diagnostic strategy of this car. And I have no way of knowing that. That's the part that bothers me. Dang it. I hate it when I always have questions and I don't have an answer. Let me just start it up again. I want to see how long it lasts. You know, is this something that comes, it does it a certain number of times and then goes away? There it is. You know, I don't hear any difference in the way the vehicle runs. We do not have a check engine light. Yes, we can see it periodically happening there. So that back there, let me just see. Thinking before we screw around, I think we just saw, where was it? So right there, you know, that's high amperage draw. You know, this here to me is looking like a shorted coil. You know, this is what I would expect. So I don't know. I don't know if, you know, when this is happening, is this a result of some kind of current limiting device in the ECM? I honestly don't know. What do you think, Mrs. O? Give us your opinion on this current ramp.
Looks like it goes up kind of ways.
Yeah, say normal. Okay, this is what we'd expect. And then occasionally on the number 4 cylinder,
Something ain't right.
we get a little what right there. And we don't know if this is a diagnostic strategy of the ECM, but
Something you gotta fix.
yep. And so what leads me to believe we probably have a coil issue. I don't know, folks. I'm not an automotive expert here. All I know is we normally run about 13 amps. This coil is going wonky. It's running about 17, but is this issue with the control side? Because obviously it's being turned back on again. There is some mutual induction going on right there.
Does it like keep happening, or is it just like a one-time thing you see?
It's pretty consistent on the number 4 cylinder, not every time, but the one thing that we do know is that the customers swap the coils from the back of the engine to the front of the engine. So if this coil was in the number 3 cylinder causing issues,
It's in the back.
the back ones I get to in about 5 seconds. Front ones we got to pull the intake off because he played Swaptronics with it. Awesome, dude. So it's pretty interesting. I'm sure somebody out there knows what's happening, but I'm gonna do a little research here, and then we're gonna make a plan of attack.